oh, we haven't got housing. And then he called me up one day and he said, they offered me some housing on Bainbridge Island. It's about 30 minutes away from the Bainbridge suburbs. And I said, I don't care. Just take it. We ready to come out and we ready to be a family. So he took that housing. Little did we know that when we got on Bainbridge, we were one of the only African American families in the entire city. When my children began school there, they were racially bullied. When we got there, we tried to find a place where we could just go to church and worship. Found that we weren't welcome there. So I began to search for where is the communities of color? Where is the black communities in Kitsap County? Every time I inquired on the island, were there any African Americans here? The response was no. There's never been African Americans here. So I began my search for identity. I began to search in the archives. I began to ask, were there any African Americans here? I began to look in the historical societies and began to comb through their records. And then I came across a document that was in 1855 that stated that it was a removal of what was natives, slaves, and Asians. So I said, well, who were the slaves? Was there a footprint of African Americans within this region here in Kitsap County? So I began to look at the founding of the cities, the founding of the bases, the founding of those communities. And I said, well, if this document stated in 1855 there were removal of slaves, I wanted to know, well, who owned them? Because during that time period, of course, the emancipation had not yet happened. So I began to look at who were the pioneers and who came here and who migrated during that time period, establishing those cities and counties in this Pacific Northwest. I began to see all the pioneers, some of the African Americans that migrated here in the 1700s. I began to follow the Confederate Army and their moving to this Pacific Northwest. And my research question was, if they migrated here to set up industries, to set up mines, set up transportation, set up mills, and set up all of these industries, it behooves me that they came with their property. Because slavery was alive and well during that time period. Slavery had not ended yet here in the United States, and wanted to know what happened during that time period when Oregon and California and this Washington state and Alaska was being what I call gentrified by colonization. So therein began my work in the research. And back in 99, we began to do some work with Pat Trinnell, who was on Bainbridge Island, who was doing Sing Out every year, working with the Filipino, Indopino, Native communities. And I said, well, these communities have been working collectively for many years. And when there was a removal of the Japanese American community from Bainbridge Island and all of their farming, I wanted to know, well, who was working on the farms? Well, come to find out, there was African Americans working on those farms as well. But yet, there was a removal out of the historical footprint. Then I began to work with Diane Robinson. I sought out not just Bainbridge Island, I went across Kitsap County because I wanted to know, where were those founding African American communities? Where were they when they were building those shipyards, building the Bremerton, housing, and building all of these communities, building, Port Blakely, all of the Fort Wards, all the Battle Point parks, all the Seattle Seabed? Where were they? I began to find out the first African American justice of the peace in Kitsap County in the 1800s. And I wonder, during that time period, who would appoint an African American to carry weapons and to govern over an entire county? I wanted to know who appointed it. I was researching and asking these questions, inquiring, because I think when we do research, we have to ask the right questions. Begin with breaking down what was happening during a time period. What was happening during that dispensation? What was happening during, the social climate that was in place? What was happening with economic development, with industries, and all of those things? Because then you can get a real scope on who was doing the work and who wasn't. Who was capitalizing and who wasn't? Who was prospering and who wasn't? So in the research, we find out that our human history is long. We have never been not present in the building of this nation because 400 years of enslavement, you have to have built a nation and have had to make contributions. And what was those contributions? So in the research, I found out that when there are, I always like to be careful with my words, an intentional, systemic removal of those communities, whether it was through the conquest, whether it was through the colonization, whether it was through all of those empires establishing power, control of economic developments and businesses. So as we go back in our history, we have to show truth. Clearly, you talk about truth. That is a divine right. When we talk about creation, that's a divine right. When we talk about where we move from where we are today to where we're going tomorrow, we cannot do it if we don't have a clear understanding of where we come from. I'm saying it like that because at no time should any culture, any human being not know who they are, where they come from, what they contributed to this global, and I say global, and I say to this earth realm. I want to say it like that because if we continue to categorize ourselves as this color, that color, we are all human beings.
That's right.
When you talk about human history, we are all created uniquely for human existence to this earth realm. I'm not supposed to look like you look. You're not supposed to look like I look. I have a distinct identity. A distinct identity. No one person is the same. Not one. But yet we want to put everybody in these categories. Not one individual. Your fingerprint will never match mine. And I can be identified specifically by that fingerprint. That is what we're talking about. Identity. We were created specifically for specific identities. And I wanted to say to us, as we begin to revision, everybody say revision.
Revision. Hallelujah.
You got to change your mind, because our minds have been colonized for hundreds of years. We have been conditioned. Whether you're white, you're black, you're yellow, you're green. We have all been conditioned. And our minds need to be transformed and renewed. And renewed. Your mind cannot stay the same. You don't even think the same way you did when you was a kid. You don't even think the same way you did when you was a teenager. Now, I want you to look around this room. I want you to look at these artifacts. I want you to just take a minute and look at the uniqueness of each piece. Someone created these, just like Mr. Tice was talking about with that piece that was created around that song. Every piece has a story. Every piece came from a cultural, traditional practice. Maybe it was a wedding, maybe it was a funeral, maybe it was a celebration of birth, maybe it was... Our creation story is very creative. Some of them wrote them on hieroglyphics, on the walls, in stones. They left a footprint of their human existence. And many of those footprints have been intentionally destroyed. Removed, as if they never existed. There have been populations, villages, human beings that have been eradicated, erased, conquered, conquered, whatever word you want to use. But we have to understand that is a history that we have to make sure that we're continually protecting, preserving, archiving, making sure that it is put in a database where the future generation can always find a remnant, a footprint of their existence. I know everybody say, who were my parents? Who were my grandparents? Where did I come from? Where did we live? Did we migrate here? We were immigrants. We came from Europe. We came from Paris. We came from this region. We came from Africa. We came from Asia. Everyone wants to know who they are.
Yes, that's right.
Everybody. And it doesn't matter what culture or what heritage or what race you come from. Everyone. The importance of this preservation goes beyond just even identity. It deals with human existence. I hope I have a right to exist just like you do. I hope it comes from a deep-seated wanting to survive. I always say there's a song that says, I need you to survive. I know y'all know that song. I need you, you need me. We all a part of what? This family, human family. Now if I perpetuate perpetuate harm on you. Don't harm me, I won't harm you. I'm talking like that because I look at what's happening in not just our nation, but the chaos, confusion that's being perpetuated globally. The harm that's being perpetuated on other human beings. So when we talk about the importance of human preservation, all we got to do is look back in our history and see all the harm that has already been perpetuated. But do we want to continue in that? How do we want to change it? How do we want to make sure that we are transforming and interrupting that harm of history? We worked diligently to do a project that was called Celebration of His History. Then we worked forward to do another exhibit that was called Healing Our Land and Healing Our History. Because we know that history, we got to work on the trauma of our history. We're still moving out of trauma. The harm that has been perpetuated. So how do we move in those type of realms to be able to heal forward? See, my mind been colonized too. I always got to check myself.
That's right, all of us.
All the time. And I check myself. You know what I check myself by? The Creator. I check myself by the Creator. Because where's your measuring rod? We have to have a measuring rod. We have to move into a spiritual and a divine realm to even heal. Healing can't come. Healing is a spiritual thing, y'all. We try to do it in the natural, and we need to do it in the natural.
Yes.
Because if you're sick, you need to go to the doctor, right? But what if your spirit is tore up and sick? Where you going?
Wow.
You have to understand your own creation and your own tribe.
Yes. Yes.
The body, mind, spirit. There's a spiritual thing to what's happening here.
Yes.
But we always want to just walk in that natural realm, knowing that the spirit.
Come on. Say that. Preach.
So I want to talk about the summit that's going to be coming up here in May. It's called Historical Preservation Month. We are intentionally working on how do we make sure that we're protecting, preserving, and transforming how we move forward to do this work. Corrective, truthful work that needs to happen so we can heal forward as we do the work. People say, oh, well, that's just history, that's just preservation, and, you know, I'm not a history fan. I said, but you better be a human fan. Because that's all history is recording what we have done as human beings. What you did yesterday, what you did 100 years ago, what you did 1,000 years ago is still affecting us today.
Hello.
But you don't want to look at history. See, we can't separate ourselves from ourselves. That's what's going on. See, we have to transform our mindsets. But in May, on May the 9th, we will be here. We want all those that are working diligently to say, okay, this year we're focusing on healing our history.
Come on.
We have to heal that history. Can we go back and change it? Nah. But guess what we can do? That's right. We can go forward in a different way to address how does truth and reconciliation play up in history.
Yes.
People say, oh, they got reparations. They got this. People are working on reparations. They're working on doing some corrective things. I always look at all the atrocities that Hitler did over in Germany in less than 4 years.
Come on.
I'm not talking 400 years. I'm saying 4 years.
Yes, yes, yes.
And they have worked as a nation to heal the harm and heal the atrocities and to heal that history.
Yes.
We did not take that opportunity in this nation to do that.
No, we did not.
We have to begin to say, what will we do moving forward? Are we going to stay stuck in the trauma? Stay stuck in that history of hurt and harm?
Yes.
Or how do we do our own healing and reparations as we move forward as human beings,
Yes, yes.
as a nation? We know what happened here on these grounds, on these lands, with those natives and First Nations that was here on this soil.
Come on, teach.
I'm telling you, all of our bones, our sweat, our tears, and everything is in the soil of this nation.
Yes, it is.
And until we want to recognize, somebody say recognize.
Recognize.
You have to recognize, and then you also have to what? Don't be sitting up here like you in denial.
Yeah.
When will you acknowledge? That's the first step. Is to acknowledge there was a harm done. It's been said to me, oh, you know, those slaves, we treated them well. It wasn't as bad. I don't know about that. Whose story is you shaking? Because we were human trafficking.
Exactly.
Come on.
You know what human trafficking is about? But you don't want to say it like that. You were put in chains and in bondage.
Yep.
But we don't want to say it like that.
Come on, tell it.
See, these are the things that we have to relanguage. Nobody can even say DEI. Nobody can even say DEI. And I want to leave that with you because that is a part of the erasure too. Thank you.
This is Karen Akuye Vargas, everyone.
Watch out, man. Kidnap now.
Yes, from Kidnap County. You know, thank you for reminding us that there's a rich history of African Americans in Kitsap County that has been erased. That's how easy it is to erase our history. And Cleve, you shared with us the harp, that beautiful, beautiful monument that exists no more. And so there's a lot of our history that exists no more. If you can't see it, it didn't exist. Now our babies come up into a world where we're told, you didn't do anything. What contribution has been made by African Americans or people from Africa? Anytime we hear about the history of the world, we never start with Africa. Africa's the oldest civilization. So I want to thank you for the work you have done in Kitsap County and the work you are doing in Washington State. Because we in Washington State think that there was no slavery. In fact, Akuye has uncovered that. How do you think Kitsap County was built? If settlers, white settlers came here to build it, they were coming with their slaves. And yet, that history has been erased. So what the Preservation Summit is intended to do is to make sure that we all know and can uncover, unearth the information that helps us to begin to remember ourselves. Because we don't have that memory to pass to our children until we are doing this kind of work. And until we are doing the kind of work that Cleve has done today. And the work that we are about to hear about from our next speaker. So make your way up here, Roger Evans, and thank you so much. Another clap for Cleo Barber. And I really want to honor the fact that these two speakers have always acknowledged, because we should not go any further without acknowledging that we're on Indian land. This is not our land, this is not our ancestral land. None of us, unless your people were indigenous to this country, and we have erased that fact. So our first step is to acknowledge who we are here and who was here before us, to acknowledge it, to respect it, and to honor it. And I really want to say thank you both for the fact that you have done that. We can't do anything alone. And we now know that Lift Every Voice and Sing is a song for all people who can tap into that experience. So beautiful. Okay, so you heard about the summit, and the summit is coming up on May 9th here at Evergreen State College. We will have people from all over the state coming to share the history that they have been able to unearth from wherever they come from. And our keynote speaker is going to share that, and he's coming up next from a very small territory in Washington State called Renton. Now you might chuckle because it's like, oh, we all know about Renton. Trust me, if you didn't know about Kitsap, if you didn't know about the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, you don't know about the history in Renton. And so we are babies now, sitting in kindergarten chairs. We have got to now start to decolonize what we were told and begin to deposit now back into our soul, into our spirits, the truth. That's our goal today. And isn't this a wonderful way to start Black History Month? Yes, indeed. And I want to shout out to Lavandra back in the back, author of books. Her book is on display today. We have other books that you're going to hear about, but by the time we end this program, authors will be seated at tables where you have a chance to go and look at the book firsthand and make a purchase. And we hope that you will begin to support that, because we have found that less than 4% of the American population actually support African American businesses, even purchase African American books. Now we'll purchase a book that somebody's telling our story. These are books we're telling you, we are telling our own story, and we need to support that vigorously. Is that okay? Yes. Good, good, good. All right. So I see they're getting set up. You ready? Oh, 5 more minutes. Oh, Lord, 5 more minutes. And I see G'day in the back. By the time you're leaving, G'day, stand up. She has on an apron for a reason. Yes, G'day is there to, oh, you wanted to say something? Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I guess I just wanted to take this time to get ready. I wanted to give back to Dr. Kuye.
Oh, a give back. Okay, what's a give back?
A give back is basically how we honor our scholars, our community leaders, the work that they have put into our community. And so this is the time to recognize their work, so we call it a give back at Evergreen. So I just wanted to say, when I first entered into this college about a year ago, I was mind blown with the work that you have done. Went as far as to really dig up the deepest history that we are disconnected from today, such as the Black Native American from this land. And so I just wanted to say that it is so important, because we all have a responsibility to our community. We could complain what's being done in society to us, but it is our responsibility to hold those gifts that we have to share with our community, such as a historian you are, And I appreciate your work because I've learned so much from being upstairs and just watching you and the passion you carry to do so. And so when the students come in here and they begin their research or their study, they're mind blown just like I am. And I just want to say, continue doing what you're doing because it's not going to be in vain. We need it. When they get to that certain age or certain, wisdom, and a certain stage of their life where this is so imperative for them, it's there. Just like our ancestors built those monuments and those statues and this is our generation. So I wanted just to take the time to tell you, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Keep doing it. Do not get discouraged. And there's people behind you that's coming to join. So thank you. Thank you for doing this great job.
G'day, we are so proud of you as a student. G'day has on this apron because she is prepared to make smoothies by the end of the program. And she's trying to raise money. Can you say for 20 seconds about that?
20 seconds. Okay, new students, and we are going to Kenya, Culture Reconnection to Kenya. There's a few of us, thank you, JT. And Jamila back there. There's quite a few students who are going to Kenya for Culture Connection study. Some of us have trying to connect, I'm sorry, I said 30 seconds, I'm trying to make it fast, but law and international business study, making those connections, and culture study. So it is more than just once, but I just want to say that we're raising some of this fund to go to Kenya in March. Thank you.
Beautiful. And very, very quickly, I want to introduce you to Levandra, and she's got a temper.
It's okay. All right, I'm gonna try to fit it in for 20 seconds. Hey everybody, my name is Devondra Wheeler. I am the author of Noble Be Bold, and it's a children's book that educates kids about sexual abuse. So the book was based off of my own story growing up, and I didn't say anything, I was too scared. So I stayed silent for a really long time until I did get the resources when I was an adult to speak up about it. So now, I don't want kids today to have to go through that and sit in silence and to endure that abuse longer than they have to. So I created Noble Be Bold, and I also it turned into Noble Talks once I did some community research and recognized that most parents don't know how to have those conversations with their children, or they're apprehensive to it, especially in the Black community where silence was often viewed as a strength. But eventually over time, silence it started killing us spiritually. And it started the generational trauma of sexual abuse or just abuse in general. So I created this to combat that stigma in the Black and brown communities. And yeah, just check me out when you get a chance. Come see me, and I look forward to meeting y'all.
Yes, indeed. Everyone must tell their own story. That's what we teach here at Evergreen. It starts in the fall quarter when people start to comb out what is my story, what what defines me, not what other people do to define me, but how do I define myself. So congratulations for that work. And I just want to remind us about these figurines, this cultural art that we see on this stage. Because one of the things that we need to remember, and somebody said it about art, that it's even a song, if you put a song or you look at art, we have a chance to recover information about ourselves through that may have been lost in just a verbal erasure. But when you see this, it's there. And Akuye didn't tell you that she found this art by having a tour in someone's home who had appreciated it, had invested in the art, and she began to weep as she went from room to room. And when the man said, "Why are you crying?" She said, "Because you know more about my culture, about my history than I do." And the end of the story was that when he passed away, the art was sent to Akuye, and she brought it here to Evergreen, where we could benefit from the vision of them. So there's a change going on. Now, Now, Roger Evans is a man who reigns from, his people reign from Roslyn, Washington. If you don't know about Roslyn, Washington, you need to look it up. It is one of the first settler communities in which African Americans had their first mayor, first businesses, thriving communities, not that far from here. And then he is born and raised in Seattle, Washington, where he has picked up an interest not just in history, but now in digitizing that history. Because we know based on technology, a fire can come and wipe out all those photographs that we have, all of that history that we have. But if you digitize it, you have a chance for its longevity. It's gonna have a whole new life. And so Roger is here to talk to us. He's also been on the committee for the preservation of African American history in Washington State. I want to give you an opportunity to hear from Roger Evans.
All right.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. I've got 20 minutes for you.
Yes.
So, as you can see, it says, who controls the past, controls the future. Who controls the present, controls the past. And one of the things that I have found in my quest, I'll give you a quick and dirty. I was a founder of a small project. I and Charlie James. It's called the Seattle Griot Project. The original purpose of the project was to document the elders of the Central area. That's why you hear the name Seattle Griot. So as we went along and documented elders, we moved way past the Seattle area. The more you talk to elders, the farther the bandwidth got. So now we are pursuing the black history of the state of Washington, because Washington was one of the last places to be migrated by black and brown people. So what that effort came to do was it came to have us do searches, whether it was in libraries, whether it was in event centers, whether it was in people's personal collections in their homes. And we've done a little bit of all of that. I'm here to kind of give you an idea. If we don't collect our history, at the end of the day, it really won't be collected. Of course, white folks will collect some and put mention of us, but they're not in our houses. They're not in our homes. They're not in the trunk in the attic that has information that's never been revealed to either a library or a sanctuary or even anything past your personal collection or your personal affiliation. There's a gap in our community of history in the Pacific Northwest from around 1930 to around 1960 that we know little to nothing about, because either we have not found the information from someone's attic or they have not brought it forward. We have been lucky. I went to Yakima just last summer. They had pieces of stuff that resided in King County from Horace Caton. If anyone should look up Horace Caton, you'll find out he was him and his wife Susie were both publishers. I'm gonna call them griots, okay? If you start digging into what they did, and I'll show a little bit of it as we come to the close of this. Not only did they talk about the black community that was thriving, and they didn't just talk about Seattle. They talked about Seattle, they talked about Portland, they talked about Yakima, they talked about Pasco, they talked about Spokane. They talked about everywhere there were black people in the state of Washington. Let me tell you why. From the time of 1863 to 1935, black population was less than 1% of the population of Washington State. In 1926, the census said out of 1.4 million humans that were in the state of Washington, 9,649 were black people. Not in Seattle, in the state. We weren't even a flash in the pan back then, but we had history. We built our own schools. That's, if you want to do some research, look at the Winetta School over in Grandview. The Winetta School was overseen by black people. They brought a white teacher to teach the black children how to do math and arithmetic and their sciences, because you know what we did? We weren't allowed to go into the white schools in the late 1800s and early 1900s. So they decided we We deemed our education important, so we went ahead and did ourselves. This, which came out in 1866 by T.J. Ferguson, was an assessment on what blacks needed to do after enslavement to catch up so we could function in a new coming America. This book is 22 pages. You should read it. It's eye-opening. It tells the blacks of the time what the course and how to even collaborate to send their youth to school and to be educated so that they can function sufficiently in this new America that has now enslaved Americans free. Our ideas here is we are trying to, what I would call, democratize our history through the cell phone, through the tablet, through the laptop. And we don't have that essence. We have bits and pieces here, bits and pieces there, but we have made a campaign to go out and find documents, oral histories, photographs, anything that resides as a component of our history, we are in search of to collect, to share. Our program is designed for free. You do not pay anything. You just go on and you just absorb the information. And right now, before they decide to shut it all down through the government, we need to embellish, immerse, and saturate it and get a copy so if they decide one day to turn the internet off like they do over there in Iran, you've got a remnant of your history that'll be either on your computer, on your phone, on a device, whatever, that you can keep and absorb and pass on to your children. One of the reasons why I decided to do digital, let me see if I can pull that video up. There's just something significant about that. This is from 2012. Let me see if I can get out of here. Give me a second. All right, back in mind this. Like this. This is a little teeny video that's, I think, about a minute. I don't know if it's that long. Okay, this is my granddaughter in 2012. Her mom let her use her very expensive phone. If you look at her, the glasses she's wearing, her mom's glasses, she's got them on upside down. I thought, oh, she's just being silly. No, the bridge of her nose fit when it was upside down. She was so brave. Look at her handle this thing at 2 years old, she can barely talk. I said, the only way I was going to connect with my granddaughter is I'm going to have to bring our future into that device. That was in 2012. That's my oldest female granddaughter, Adrielle. Let me show you her today. This is her with her sister, the youngest. She's 14 years old. Brilliant. She's going to come on board to help us do our digitization and stuff. These, if we don't look forward to educate and facilitate this, because you know what? It's not going to be done if we just hope to God the government will do it. That the government is not doing it. If anything, they're trying to roll it back right now.
There you go.
It's on our hands. We have a film that we're going to be showing on the 10th that highlights Quintar Taylor. And the thing he said that he said his dad told him. He said he gave a little tale. He says, why, when you hear about the story of the man and the lion never wins? Because the lion never learned how to write. So the only perspective you get is from the man or the hunter. It's on us. You know what the scary part is? If you go to libraries, we've been to all kinds of libraries, which is really creeping me out. I found a book that was from 1914. A lady named Elaine Dixon. She wrote some writings that were highlighting the black community in Seattle in 1914. She only did a limited amount because she perished suddenly after only 6 issues of her magazine. But a year later, the Crisis out of Atlanta gave tribute to her because of the work she had did the year prior. And she had just freshly came out of, she was still going to the University of Washington, taking up journalism. She was 22. She had graduated early from, what they call Broadway High School, which is now Garfield. She graduated at 17 with honors. She took up she pursued it and went to journalism, created a book with her and a girl named Ruth Freeman, and came out with these issues and tragically died suddenly. But the idea here was her original book, which you cannot find anywhere. They had made a copy and it had been sitting in the University of Washington Library since May of 1968, waiting for a black person to go and retrieve that information. 1968! I went and looked at that book this last summer. I couldn't believe it. We had never even, and let me tell you how I found the information about her. So Ryan Donaldson, close family member, close family friend, and also another historian archivist. Him and I went to the UW to look at the archival collections of Samuel P. DeBow. Samuel P. DeBow was one of the co-authors, him and Edward A. Pitter, of the Who's Who in Washington State from 1926, 1927. It was a comprehensive book that talked about the black community in the early 1920s, and comprehensive is an understatement. It told you who they were, told you where they lived, it gave you their address, it told you their fraternal affiliation, told you their churches, it had a list of all the churches that were in existence with their parishioners. This was comprehensive. This would have been like an internet channel today. So he wrote it in this little 266-page book. Of course, it wasn't going to be very big. Remember, 9,000 black folks, and he did a sample. I think he did like 280 of them because people were doing stuff. And he made an account. The idea here was he had left a scrapbook. So me and Ryan went to the UW, and they had it on microfilm. And of course, they'll let you go in and look at it, and they'll let you even digitize it. All you have to do is go down there and identify it and ask. So we went down there and we were looking through this scrapbook, and I'm finding this little article. It says Lane Dixon. It's Lane Dixon. Never heard of her. I never seen none of writings. He has either photocopied or did something. All of her whole writing is in this little scrapbook. So I'm looking through the scrapbook and I'm finding out who she was and how she represented our community. How she was significant, and then you find that she was embedded in the community, doing documentary work and the same thing that he was doing. So then when I go to his book, of course her face is in there, and a full dossier is on there talking about who she was and what she did. So that put me on challenge. Okay, we need to find out who's this lady and why is she important to a man who's already documenting black history. So once I got dug in, I found out she wrote a series of this thing, and she was embedded in the community and talked about community, and she did 6 or 7 of these. And I was lucky to find another one hiding in the back 40 somewhere. And the thing is once we got access to it, we digitized it. It's online. So let me go to part 2. Part 2 is we are creating what's called the Grio's Archive. The Grio's Archive should be open by the end of the month. I've been working diligently for, since 2026, since 2022 to create the Grio's Archive. Let me see if I can call it up for you. Okay. Are we online? Yes. So the Grio's Archive is a digital archive that we have been building that has picture information, document information, and books. All right, let me see. Where's my... Hold on just a second.
Hey, Roger, I got a question for you.
Lay it on.
So what year is Miss Dixon living?
She lived...
1914?
Yes. She produced her first publication in 1940.
Wow.
Okay, so this is the entries of the Grio's Archive. This is 400 of them so far, and this is just the beginning because we've been processing it. And let me show you why. It's just too much stuff. All right, so let's go to the who's who And let me see if I can give you an account of that. Might be way at the bottom here. Okay, let's get out of this madness here and go to the organization. Right here on the side, that gives you options to get, let me put my glasses on because, you know, I'm getting old. All right, so we go scroll down here. If you look through here, there's going to be anything from oral testimonies to videos, but we're starting with where we're starting. So I'm going to give you historical books. Who's from Washington State? This is the book. Here's the copy. And so the way this is laid out is it does this. There's 400 different entries on here, but they may have anything from 1 page to 266 pages. So there's thousands of things to pull down. This particular book, if you click the top icon right here, it downloads the book for you. So you have access to the whole book at your leisure. It don't cost you a dime. If you hit any of these other icons, you get the individual page of each and every one pertinent to the information. You press this one here. That's Samuel P. DeBow and Edward A. Pitter, the authors of the book. They have an introduction. Of course, it's totally easy to accessible with your phone as well as with a computer like I have right there. So if you go down farther, you can scroll and look at each and every page. It'll talk about fraternal orders. It'll talk about the state population of Washington right here. So it talks about, these are the numbers. Seattle, 437,683. The group is the black people. Out of 437,683 people in 1926 in Seattle, 5,892 in Seattle are black. Look at Olympia, 14,632 people as a population. In 1926, you gotta realize, 26 of them were black. So what we have is we have a comprehensive gaze that we can go through, pull it down for ourselves, and also and instruct our young on some of the more details of how black communities were built in Washington. Let's go a little farther because this is only 1926. We can go a lot farther than that. So I'm going to pull out of this.
So Rod, this is live right now?
I'm going through this thing. I'm listening. What you got?
This is live right now on the internet?
No, it should be up by the end of February. We're cleaning it up.
Okay.
But this is what you guys have experienced when it pops up.
All right, cool.
So I'm giving you guys a sample. Let's go here. Let's see. So Records Magazine. Let's go to this. This is the 1909 Seattle Republican. It was done by Horace Caton. I found one copy in Yakima, so I had to make a trip. Drove to Yakima. They welcomed me in there, sat me down, let me sit there as long as I like. I digitized the whole 80-page document, and it has stuff. So first of all, you also have old advertisements, but then we start seeing our people. At the top there, the lady, that picture which you won't find on the internet, that's Ella E. Ryan. Ella E. Ryan was a proprietor of the Forum newspaper out of Tacoma from 1903. She also ended up, after her husband, John Ryan, decided to go into politics, she took on the responsibility of being editor. There's her face right there, you get to see her. Okay, this is 1909. This is a reference from 1909 when they compiled the book to talk about those of our group. On the opposite side, you see right here, let's hit that real quick. Let me zoom in. These are biographies. Andrew R. Black, an attorney. Edward F. Meyer, out of Bremerton. I mean, so we can zoom in on there, but see? All of this is accessible to us via document, there's photographs, and all kinds of stuff, so I don't know, 20 minutes ain't gonna let me get through the whole thing. 20 minutes. So along with all of this work, we're taking on a second level. We have done the oral history, we've done the digitizing of documents and photographs. Now we're getting ready to digitize, what do they call them? They call them, what is the word?
not conversation.
No, we're talking about, landmark locations.
Okay.
All right, so landmark locations is next on our agenda. So we go there, and this is where this little piece of wants to come in. That's our building on 2656, 42nd Avenue Southwest. Sorry, I'm doing too much. So this, you would believe is a picture, right? Isn't that a lovely picture? That's not a picture. We digitized that room. That room, let's move around. We need to move it. Oh yeah, let's go. Okay. Go forward a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna reduce the resolution so we can party a little faster because right now it's really clumsy because of that ultimate quality. So we'll bring it down, let's bring it down a little bit more. So it's gonna look a little not as clear, but it'll get us the function. And because I'm gonna rush it. So with this thing, you were able to turn around and look in the room. Oh, look at that. We can go. And let's see what's behind us. What we got. People, pictures. This room was digitized. So let's go into the skeleton of the room. All right, and I'm going to do this. Let me see, give me just a second. So we're going to go into the skeleton of the room, and we're going to turn collisions off. Okay.
So Roger, I'm sorry.
I'm always go ahead. You talk to me while I'm playing with the
This is
device.
not a photo. This is actual virtual reality, like
This is yes.
recreation.
This is the next, I'm getting ready to show you just how big this virtual reality thing is.
Okay.
You see I'm pulling out on it?
The model, yes.
That is a model. This is a model of our building
Okay.
that we are, and this is applicable for us in our communities so we can document our legacies, our spaces. Because if we don't get to keep them, we should have a snapshot of what they look like 100 years from now.
There you go.
If they're contributing to our greatness, we need to have a fingerprint, a blueprint, that when all of this is gone, we've got something digital that we can go back and say, hey, we were here.
Hello.
So this is the work we're into. We're trying to take digitization and 3D and VR to the nth degree, and the technology right now is crazy fascinating, and it's getting cheaper.
Yep.
And some of this stuff is even applicable from your standpoint. So all of this doesn't cost $1 million. It takes a rocket scientist to operate. I'm just showing you some of the crazy stuff. But this is the work we need to do. I've got digital images of Mount Zion. Yesterday I did a digital image of Ebenezer over in Bremerton. Next week I'm gonna be over there to digitize the Caballero, on and on and on. What you got, sir?
What technology are you using, like LiDAR?
That's SLAM technology, LiDAR. SLAM technology. We're using what they call a protocam. And what it does is you walk around in that environment, and it throws almost 860 laser points per second as you walk into space to keep your framework and your GPS. And once you close the file and process it over a period of 8 to 12 hours, it turns it into a virtual room for you. But this is for us. This is our time. That's why I'm up here before you. This is our time. We can pass this on by. Somebody can take hold of it and make us pay for it, or we can do it ourselves and take the lead in our history.
Exactly.
And our history. So, when my 20 minutes up, this is where we're at. I'll talk more probably at the summit. Because I'm one of the contributors and I'm on the board, and we're gonna make this off the hook this, you guys.
Tell us about February 9th and 10th. February 9th and 10th.
So February 9th and 10th, last thing. So we're doing, through some of our work, a 2-day film featurette festival. I had the pleasure in 2022 to go with Tony Benton of Columbia City Theater and Radio. We went down to Tulsa, Oklahoma and talked exclusively with the gentleman whose name, what was his name? Phil Armstrong of Black Wall Street's Greenwood Rising Museum. We sat and chopped it up with him, and he told us how they constructed its identity and filled it with its content. Well, there's a 30-minute piece that'll talk about that in detail. On the 10th, we've actually had the pleasure the same year in November, prior to his passing, sit down with Quintar Taylor, and he told us how he built Black Past and what was his motivation to get it there. These two featurettes will be at the Columbia City Theater. It's free again. Come on down from 6 to 8. You could apply online at Eventbrite, or you can just show up. I don't think we're gonna have that many people. Okay.
Unfortunately,
That's not true. We're gonna fill the room.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger Evans. And I would be remiss if I didn't say Roger Evans of the Griot Project. And Roger has a 9,000 square foot building that you saw up there in West Seattle. So that is quite a bit of work he's done. And you know, we're only here for a season, as Akuye says. We're only here for a season. So the time we have, this is his contribution to the future and to the longevity of our history. So I want to thank you, Roger, for giving this wonderful presentation. All right, we are, yes.
And I also wanted to.
As John Wayne Houston makes his way up and the zip drive, go ahead, Akuya.
We also will be there with Roger and them for my history from Kitsap County. So we'll all be presenting there down at the city.
Yes. Okay, and if you miss all of that, don't worry. Be here for the Historical Preservation of Black History of Washington State Summit here at Evergreen State College, Tacoma. So you have that opportunity on May 9th. Mary, you have opened that summit twice. We're in our third annual. Will you be here for our third annual? Thank you for that continuity. Okay, he can sit where? Yes, he can sit right in that chair. All right. And we have go ahead and put the zip. Where is our Tacoma? Tacoma taking a break? You know, poor Tacoma. He doesn't have time for a break. But that's okay, we'll get it together. We'll get it together very shortly. We want to get the zip drive up because we have an image of John Wayne Houston. And if you don't mind coming forward, we need an audience so that when he presents, this is going to be the highlight. Now we have a final presentation for our alum, Larry Norman. He's going to give us some more information about how to use AI and his relationship with AI. He's written over a dozen books, and he's another one of our alumni. We're so proud of the work he's done. So that will follow this presentation. Please come forward and take a seat right here so that we can all lean in to this gentleman here. John Wayne Houston is here for the first time at Evergreen State College. I'm so happy that he came. I'll call him my homeboy because I have a great aunt who also reigns from Renton in the Highlands and was a neighbor to John Wayne Houston and his family. And he recently is an author of a book of memoir that he has authored, and the book is available here today. It's going to be up there on the screen shortly. And he is a resident of Renton, Washington, where he was with his family in the Highlands for his growing up years. And so we want to listen to his story, which is a real example of how the government is complicit in the erasure of our historical stories. So we can tell our stories all day long, but the stories can go away if we don't take opportunity to record, to document, to digitize, and to use AI to make sure that they are in the archives. That's what the goal is today for Black history. So I so appreciate those of you who have come a little closer as we hear from our keynote speaker, Mr. John Wayne Houston. Give him a big hand.
Thank you, Dr. Runga and Evergreen for having me out today, and thank you guys for all taking time on this Saturday to come out and hear us and take part in the celebration of Black history. Black history, someone had said earlier, is our history, and there were so many things that have been talked about. The lady from Bay Ridge Island definitely ties into my family story also. It was a place in the 40s when my father came from Louisiana. He came to Bremerton to work at the shipyard, and it ties in directly with what this young lady was saying. Black people couldn't buy land there or rent there in a place that they worked. My father worked in the shipyard. So that's how the rents part of it comes in. And then the other two speakers were also tied in. Rosslyn was very important in my life. There was neighbors in Renton that I had that were from Rosslyn, coal mining town over in central Washington. So our history runs deep here in this state. And I hope Dr. Rumby doesn't mind me telling this, and sharing this. She shared a little bit about her family and the connection to my family in Renton. Her family, I believe, homesteaded, from what I heard growing up,
Yes.
and they had a lot of land.
Yes.
A lot of land, like 40 or 50 acres of land. If you go where that land is today, the family was the Graysons.
Yes.
There's no inkling that family was ever there. It's $1 million houses, $1 million condominiums, and the Grayson family were a hard-working family. Reverend Grayson actually had the first black church in Renton.
Come on.
And his sons were very well educated. Mrs. Grayson and Irene were two of the nicest. We were just little kids, but they'd always, I think the daughter was, Irene, who's the daughter?
Ann. Yeah.
She would stand back and just wave at us as we would go by. Just a nice family. My father came to Bremerton to work in the shipyards and to get away from deep South Louisiana, dirt roads, racists, lynchings, the Klan, and he supposedly said something to a white woman, and they were looking for him, the men were looking for him. He hid under a house for a week until he could figure out how to get out of there. He hopped a train and came to Washington State. He was a farmer in Louisiana. My parents were farmers, sharecroppers. One step up from slavery. They worked hard all day and got paid very little, but the owner of the land, got most of the money. So it was just one step up from slavery. But my father came out here and got a job in the shipyard, and couldn't live in Bremerton, where the shipyard was. And I hope the lady from Bainbridge is still here.
Yes,
Okay, then this ties in really with your story. The black men that came to Bremerton to work in the shipyard could not own a home, could not buy land. So, and you would ask, your question was, where did the black people go? They sent them to rent into a swampy land that the white people didn't want. But it was perfect for my family because we raised farm animals, so there was water, so we got free water. So we got free water. They thought it was hurting us, but we got free water. But that's one small street in the Ridden Highlands. It wasn't because all the black people planned on, oh, we're gonna live on the same street. But that's the only place in King County that they could buy land at that time.
Tell the truth. Come on.
All these families, and they made the community a strong black community. That's, you know, I'm not a real educated guy, so I hope what I say, I might go around some corners or something, but I hope it comes back to meaning something to you.
Take your time, take your time.
These people, these men and women who came from Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia, to Washington State, they made that swampy land profitable. They raised their animals, they raised their families. We had a black barber shop, we had a black grocery store, because we couldn't go to Safeway and get the food that they were used to eating in the South. So we had a little black grocery store that had certain things that we could get. We had a black barber shop, we had a beauty salon, we had a barbecue place. It was a profitable black community. And I don't want to give up all the book, but you know, I talk about it in my book about how the system set up to make us fail. They're in place. They're in place, and so my family, my dad bought 10 acres. When he stopped working in Bremerton at the shipyards, he was a skilled man. He, we tore down buildings, we junked cars, we raised pigs and cows and chickens, and they made that mortgage payment every month.
That's right.
They paid off that 10 acres. This goes, I'll get into the system now. Somebody, a black person, they say we're free. And my parents missed slavery by a generation or two. You know, they barely missed it. But they paid off that land, and when they started seeing, when the rent school district started seeing it, you know, my parents were being successful, they decided they wanted to build a new school there.
Come on.
And there was no need for a new middle school. There was a middle school 1 mile from our front door. My brothers and sisters walked to that school. And the sad thing about it, there was no school needed then, and there's no school needed now, because the population in that area has quadrupled, and they haven't built a new middle school. There's 200 houses, over $1 million on that land. They gave my parents pennies. Pennies. My mom, actually, when we finally got kicked off of that land that they owned, clear and free, my mom had to work 2 jobs.
And then from there,
She had to work 2 jobs to get enough. She had to clean houses and was a janitor at Kenworth Motors in Seattle. She wasn't used to that. You know, she wasn't used to going, she didn't have to. We had, that land made money for them. She didn't have to go punch anybody's time clock or iron somebody else's clothes or clean somebody's toilet. She didn't have to do that all those years. But after they took that land, the Rent School District kept the land after they took it from us for a few years, and they turned around and sold it. Now there's 200 houses in there. Talking about that neighborhood, there were 6 professional athletes. This road was 132nd when I was growing up, and it's Union Avenue now in the Highlands. It's about a mile long. 6 professional athletes came from that one street. This is the NFL and the NBA. From that one street. 6 professional black athletes from that one street. You don't find that in Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco. You don't find that. I would bet nobody could find another 1 mile street with that many professional athletes, so successful. We also had the first black Washington State patrolman,
Yes.
Xavier Bonds, from that street. So the families there were producing, like the students sitting there, they were producing young people to go on and do things in the community, and until they didn't want us there anymore. When they did that to my parents, other black families start saying, well, if they do it to the Graysons and the Houstons, they're coming for us next. So they decided to sell. It was gentrification.
Come on,
Be-
tell it.
Before gentrification in the central area of Seattle. It was like a test run in the Renton Highlands. We raised the taxes.
Yeah.
These people who have paid for the land, it's paid.
And then it's just like,
We raise the taxes, they can't afford the tax, so they're gonna lose it to foreclosure, or they're gonna sell it. So most of the families sold, which was sad to see that community erased. It was wiped off the map, but that's one of the reasons that I decided to write my book and tell my story, because when I'm gone, the story would die with me. I honestly do believe that, because there's nobody else from that old community that is telling the story. There are some articles, if you Google Black Families in Renton, you'll see a bunch of articles about the Renton Highlands. I was able to work with Senator Bob Asagawa to pass a state law. It's the Houston Eminent Domain Fairness Act. Where school. Thank you. It's where schools cannot do, again, what they did to my family. They made lots of money, and they gave my parents pennies for their land. So I was really proud of that, and I was glad to work with Senator Asagawa to get that done. I was on the, this is funny to me. I was on the front page of the USA Today, and that guy in DC had been all over the front pages, but the Houston family moved him over to the corner and moved him into a little article. But the stories on the front, so it got national recognition. King 5 Facing Race did a story, and Seattle Times recognized what we're doing. I'm working now with King County, and I hope some of you will write the King County executive and tell them to continue to investigate the Houston family's story. They have agreed to do that. So there's a little bit of fight left in me, and I'm gonna fight to the end, because this is our history.
That's right.
This is, nobody know about the Grayson family. Bud and Jean Grayson, two very well-educated men, but that system that is set up for us, it's there waiting for us. They feed drugs to us, or to our neighborhoods. We don't bring any drugs into this country.
Tell the truth.
But where do they end up? Right in the black neighborhoods. That's where they end up, because they want us to stay they want workers, or they want those prisons to make money off of us. So it's there, we just can't take the bait. I was talking to my friend, Coach Mike, a few minutes ago. I got caught up, I got lost. And I'm not, I work with kids in King County juvenile probation and detention. And I tell them my story. I got caught up and lost in drugs. I I wandered these very streets, Dr. Ron, not knowing which way I was going, just mindless and just no direction. And I'm proud of my 21 years of continuous sobriety. I'm proud of it. I got to work with Coach Mike, and Coach Mike can tell him the job he does. I'm not going to tell him, but it's a job that it's a dangerous job where he has to carry a weapon and he wears a uniform. But I've heard him making sure young black kids made it home. I've heard him. That's what we have to do. The job that I do with the kids, I get some kids that are in serious trouble. Young black kids that are in trouble. I wandered the streets. I was in some of the same trouble that they're getting in today. So that's our relationship. We can break ice. And you can break ice and say, man, that's not, I did that. This is how I got out of it. And I can break ice with some tough kids. Then we can talk about food that grandma makes.
Come on.
We can talk about sports, and then we get down to the real business. How are you going to change your life?
Yes.
Because the direction that you're going in now, you know, they have a place for you. It's already, it's waiting for you.
Come on, tell it.
So I love the work. I love the work that Coach Griffin's doing, Coach Mike's doing. I've got some other friends here that do the same work. But that's what we have to do to save our history. Because they're killing our young black people. Our young black people are killing each other. We have to save our young black people. And for me to get out of it, and I just think about it. I used to sleep in Wright Park. I slept there. And to be here today in front of you guys is it's you know, sometimes I gotta say, my mother used to say, you maybe gotta get a few more lumps before you wake up. But it finally stuck this time. My daughters, my grandchildren, I'm able to talk to daily my daughters, my 7 grandchildren. I'm able to own my own business in Renton, and I'm able to do this, to write this book. This book, Return to the Sunlight, it, you know, it wasn't easy to write because I looked at being born in the sunlight. We come home from the hospital, you know, they're pinching our cheeks and all that. It's so cute and stuff. But my first day out, my first day of first grade, I was called that name. That name. And my mother always don't go to school fighting or nothing like that. So I didn't. I listened to my mom. I told the playground teacher, this little boy, I don't know why. Well, I do know why. He learned that stuff at home.
That's
I do know why.
That's right.
I told the teacher, I told the principal, I told him, this little kid's calling me names. He did it 3 days. My first 3 days out of my house after being around my all-black family or my all-black cousins.
Come on.
Out into this new world.
New world.
Trauma hit me in the face. On the 3rd day, my brothers told me, this kid ain't gonna stop, just sock him in the stomach.
That's it.
So I'm not, I try not to be a violent guy,
Right to the point.
but the kid was getting more aggressive and I did sock him in the stomach. And he hit the ground hollering and stuff, and his little friends took off running. I went on back to playing in the sand. Here comes the principal, grabbed me by the ear, led me to his office. told me sticks and stones will break your bones, but words never hurt to grab your ankles.
What?
That's why I got swatted. I got swatted. So that trauma, and you can tell by the principal and by the other teachers, it's set up for me.
Yeah.
It's set up for me to fail, to face trauma right away. 6, 7 years old,
Right away.
face trauma right away. So I'm gonna sit quiet while these kids are bullying me all day long.
Yes.
And that's where I'm supposed to take that. So a lot of that's in the book, and how it sidetracked me, and how it ended up leading me to drugs. I'd rather isolate on drugs. At that time, I would rather isolate on drugs than to face what was out there. Because I probably ended up hurting somebody or getting hurt, and it's been all over then. But so I hid behind drugs for a lot of years, and that's not how I was raised. My mother went to Reverend Grace's church. We went there. I actually, this is something Dr. I remember. We had two houses burned down and a bomb set up on our front porch. Before, this was all while the Renton School District was trying to get that land.
Wow.
One of the houses that we lived in, now this is history. There was a log cabin on the Grayson land
Yes, there was.
that had been set on fire also. But Mr. and Mrs. Grayson let us move into that house, that log cabin. It's literally a log cabin. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not. But they let us live in that log cabin until our house was rebuilt. And
Yes.
so our lives were threatened. The bomb went off while we were in the house sleeping. This is in Renton, Washington. This is a 45-minute drive from here.
Come on, tell it.
This is Western Washington. This is not the deep south. This is where you wouldn't think this stuff is happening. Some people don't know about it to this day. So I'm glad that I got to write that book.
Yes, indeed.
I got to tell my truth.
Yes.
You know, I didn't want somebody else to tell my story.
Come on.
So my grandkids get to read it. Hopefully you'll read it. You know, my daughters, my nieces, nephews, great nieces and nephews get to know about their grandparents, you know, their great grandparents. They get to know that now. That's not going to go away. It's written down now. I got to talk to the brother about the digitalizing and the oral history. Yeah. I got to talk to the lady from Bainbridge too, because we got some. It's really connected. It's amazing how coming here today that you know that I feel those connections.
Yes.
There's young people wanting to carry on. Our legacy is important.
That's right.
It's important. Somebody mentioned DEI.
Yes.
Wanted to go away. Dr. King's birthday, the parks were open, they closed.
Yes.
You know, they don't want certain things taught in school. You know. One thing that I've always said, and this is not to offend anybody, nothing's gonna change until white people start feeling that pressure. When they start shooting white people in the face. That's when the white people are gonna say, wow, these black people have been telling us this for years. They've been killing us. We've been telling them for years. They've been killing us and nothing happens. Now look what's happening in Minneapolis. So maybe something good's starting to change. I wish I was your age. I would be right here at Evergreen.
Yeah.
I would be right here because the message is good.
It's not too late.
You know, But anyways, I would do that. I went to Olympic College over in Bremerton, and I learned, I'm a drug and alcohol counselor, and I do some mentoring, and I knew once I got sober that I wanted to do something that I ain't gonna make a bunch of money, but I wanted to make a living and help people. I wanted to especially help my people. I went back to Renton to work with young people who look like me. Avoid the barriers that caught me up. And so I've been able to do that for the last 15, 16 years. I own my own agency. I'm involved in a couple groups around Renton, and I get to talk about Renton Black history.
Yes.
And the Seattle Times, as a matter of fact, for 2025, voted my story one of the top 8 stories of the year. And so that was a big thing for me.
Yes.
People are listening to the story. I don't know how much time I have left, but I would like to answer any questions. If anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer.
First, let's give him a big hand for his talk. Okay, I do see a question there.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
let me give you the mic and then I'll get you want to sit?
Mr. Houston, we just thank you so much for the work that you have been doing to really educate and inform us on how systems work to be able to oppress, erase our footprints, our contributions, our communities, and the work that you've been doing, you know, in your family out of Bremerton, you know, how you all couldn't stay in Bremerton because of all the things that was going on and couldn't own any property, and the long history of supremacy and oppression that came out during that time period that was happening. You know, the cross burnings that was happening, all of the noose hangings that was happening during that time period that a lot of people do not talk about. In Bremerton, Washington, all those that migrated to help build that shipyard, the great migration that came to the Puget Sound through that shipyard, through the building of those bases, many of those jobs that was, you know, that was advertised and put out across the nation, that many came to this region, but when they came here, they found that that fight that they were leaving from those regions was very much real in this region as well. And so, you know, the stories that you tell is so vital because they'll say every day that wasn't happening here when it was. But thank you for that.
Yeah, again, the trauma, and that sets us back. Either we reach out with our fists.
Yes.
We reach out with our fists.
Yes.
Or we just sit quiet and let them continue to walk on us. Let people walk on us. Our little kids. There was some little black child that saw Barack and Michelle in those costumes, or whatever he. So the trauma they throw at us. Some of the young kids that I work with, they call me Houston. I say, Houston, man, you know, I tried to go to school, and the teacher talks bad to me. I said, well, what were you doing? Nothing. Nothing none of the other kids weren't doing. So he gets disgusted, quit school.
Yes.
There's no money at home. So, the little kid starts to hustle. I'm not saying it's right, but man, if you're hungry, you're gonna eat.
Hey, there you go.
If that's what they see and that's what they know how to do, that's what they're gonna do. So, what I try to do is get them to see something different. You know, man, if I got a couple bucks, man, I'll throw you a couple dollars, man. Just don't go do nothing stupid. That's gonna lock you up, send you to kids' prison. So we're faced with that, all that, and sometimes we don't know what to do with that trauma. When I was growing up, there was nobody in school like, I work with kids in school. There was nobody like John Houston in school. They were just basically saying, you gotta take it or suck it up, or, that's what they told me. But, so, the kids today have a little bit more options. They have people that look like us that are, and I hope some of you go into that, the social work or teaching or where you can be there for our kids need support. Our kids need us.
Is there maybe one more question for John Houston? Yes.
Yes, Mr. Houston, I absolutely love the fact that you give it back to the young people over there. I love the story. I'm just wondering, how do the young people that you talk to today, how do they respond to your story when you share it with them?
I'm really surprised by, once I talk about cornbread and collard greens and some foods that their grandmothers cook, they pay attention because they've had so many counselors and mentors who don't know anything about their history, their black history. And I don't only work with Hispanic white kids, but the black young people that I work with. So more times than not, the response is amazing. And I